Hey, welcome everybody, Minnesota youth basketball fans, participants, parents, spectators. My name is Dawson Blanck. I'm the Executive Director at the Minnesota Youth Athletic Services. With me today is Craig Perry, Vice President of the U.S. Council for Athletes' Health. We have had a great partnership with them over the course of the past year. Their assistance in the facilitation of the Return to Participation Manual that the Minnesota Youth Basketball Alliance Return to Participation Manual created in December, and we launched in January on our Return to Play, has been extremely beneficial for all of us within youth basketball. And their continued guidance throughout the last 7 weeks have been instrumental in getting us to this point of the 2020 Grade State Basketball Championships. Leading into this weekend, which is the Girls Grade State Championship, where we have 546 teams competing for the elusive state championship. And we're so excited to get to this 29th annual grade state. And Craig, thank you so much for all your help in putting the Return to Participation Manual together with us, along with the grade state participation manual that we created. And I encourage everybody to check out the grade state fan guide that is available for this weekend's tournament, along with the next 2 weekends. Gives specific instructions about your playing location. It talks about what needs to be done as far as requirements and what is highly recommended. And that grade state participation manual sits inside that guide. So, Craig, thanks for being on today.
Absolutely, Dawson. It's a pleasure, and I can tell you that on behalf of on behalf of the U.S. Council for Athletes' Health, it's been a great partnership over the last year. We are very excited to be able to help you and your organization and work with an incredible team that put together a great handbook and guidelines to help us resume participation in January once we were allowed to do that. And then again, to be part of the team that put together the guidelines for the upcoming grade state tournament starting this weekend. And our mission is really simple. We work with other organizations to ensure as best as possible that participation can be healthy and safe. And so the guidelines that have been put together for the upcoming grade state tournaments really reflect not just what we need to do here in Minnesota with information coming from the governor or the MDH, but also reflect some of the best practices that are happening across our nation at all levels, be it NCAA Division I, Division II, youth sport, high school sports. We're very active with all of those organizations. So we're just happy that we can help create that safe environment this weekend. And I know in the discussions you and I have had lately, it is so imperative that everybody does follow the guidelines this weekend. If we want to maintain our tournaments in the next 3 weeks, we have to emphasize that there are certain things that are in place now, Dawson, that weren't before. You know, you just can't enter when you want to. You're going to have to be notified as a fan when you can enter the building. That'll come from your team manager or your head coach. Wristbands are going to be required just to make sure we get the right people in for the right games. And I know you were sharing earlier, there's been some questions about, well, what about parents can go one day but not the other? What do we do with wristbands? Well, they'd have to exchange that wristband between parents, but they will be required. So there'll be no admission for anyone attending. And again, I think it's officials and participants won't have the wristbands, correct?
Correct.
Everybody else will. And there's just some real simple protocols in place. Enter and exit the building when you've been asked to do that. Go to your assigned seating area. Do everything possible you can to promote healthy and safe participation and viewing of the contest if you're a fan. We're finding that the most recent research across the nation just really does show us the impact of wearing masks in creating that safe environment. So when you get in that building, keep your mask on up above the nose. A lot of people like to keep it down below the nose, but those are just really simple things. And again, the sanitation stations, those kinds of things, just do everything you can as a fan or a parent to make sure your child can have 2 days of a grade state tournament.
Yeah, before the pause initially in November, we launched an initiative with Minnesota Hockey on Be a Good Teammate, and that still applies today. We really encourage everybody, no matter what team you're participating on or who you're cheering for, that we're all teammates in this process of and enjoyable, and what you said over and over again in this in getting this put together over the last 8 to 10 months of creating the safest and healthiest environment possible for everybody participating. So going back to some of the things that you had highlighted, you know, we are wanting to ensure everybody's, you know, to mitigate the risk and ensure everybody's safety as best we can. So we are strongly, and I repeat, strongly discouraging anybody from coming towards the entrance unless you are the designated team manager or the head coach. And we're asking that approximately 20 to 30 minutes before your game time, that individual checks in at the host table. The host representative will be there, and you'll be able to provide your host fee check. You'll receive your wristbands. You'll receive a spectator card for each one of your spectators that talks about a conduct first environment, that it's about the kids, keep your competitive energies in check, and respect your officials and your opponents, along with being COVID compliant. And then you will go over to our tournament director headquarters, and they will check you in. They will provide you some details on things to remember. Before the tournament, we will be sending out that self-assessment survey that everybody has become accustomed to. And with the help of U.S. Council for Athletes Health, we've created a document that we're going to be sharing that's going to be a page on our website that we want everybody to make sure that if they answer all the questions no, that you're good to go for that day of participation. If there is any kind of question, you need to stay home. And we want everybody to take that serious. We know that that's been something that's been out there for a long time, but please take that serious and do that self-assessment. When your head coach, team manager checks in, then they will have the wristbands in their possession. They will go outside the building. They will hand off those wristbands to somebody from the team. And we are encouraging everybody to maintain a great distance from the facility and either stay in your vehicles or stay in the parking lot. That head coach or team manager will then proceed back to the entrance, and they will have a staging area inside the entrance. When the court is available, so at the completion of the previous game, and when the court has been sanitized by the court monitors of the host group, they will notify the host rep, and then they will notify the coach or team manager, and that individual will then send hopefully a text or something through an app that you could use to notify everybody on the team that it's time to come in. At that time, everybody will come in. All spectators must have a wristband on. Players and officials will not have a wristband on. So, I mean, those are just some highlighted things to think about as you enter. And what Craig talked about, and maybe you can elaborate on it again, Craig, but just the things to keep in mind as you enter the building and going to your designated spectator area. Make sure you read up on the specific instructions for your location in the Grade State Fan Guide. Again, Grade State Fan Guide can be found at MYAS.org in the Grade State portion of our website. So, Craig, you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just a couple follow-up ideas. We know that participation has changed for our kids that are participating in the grade state tournaments, and the requirements and mandates to be able to watch our children participate have changed from what used to be our normal. But I can tell you, the U.S. Council for Athletes Health not only are working with organizations like the MYAS, guidelines and recommendations and requirements, these are consistently going to be applied here in Minnesota with the high school league state tournaments and postseason. They're being applied with our partnering NAIA and NCAA schools that we work with. And so really what we've got is we've got the simplest, easiest ways possible to ensure health and safety participation. That's what the guidelines provide us. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think back, Dawson, to the start of the season and then the pause and the restart, everybody said, we hope we can have a season and we sure hope we can have a postseason. And we got through this because for the majority of us, we're following those guidelines that have come forward. Now, for the next 3 weeks, let's just continue to do that. And we had a great month and a half of regular season. Now we're in postseason. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Dawson outlined for you that there'll be different requirements at different facilities on entering and exiting. So make sure you check on those site-specific guides. But at the end of the day, do what you can so that our kids in these tournaments can have their two-day events that culminating event that they all want to be part of at the end of the year.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. And our organization, MYAS, has administered this tournament for 29 years. And we know that each and every year this creates a lifetime of memories. Our dedicated host groups that are in charge of their specific facilities or locations are doing their part. We've had meetings with them, and they understand how important this is, and they have their volunteer staff ready to go. Our dedicated tournament directors that are our external staff that'll be at headquarters, they're ready and they're prepared. And our staff, we're so excited, obviously to provide this opportunity, but to be able to have this ready to go now. There is some excitement in the air because, once again, ultimately this fulfills our mission as an organization, that we are here to improve the delivery of youth sports services and provide opportunities for youth across the state of Minnesota. And this is just another thing that we can offer up for those youth in youth basketball from the Minnesota Youth Basketball Alliance that we have been so proud of, all the leaders, all the teams that are part of that Minnesota youth basketball community.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Dawson, and that's a great way to finish. The Minnesota Youth Basketball Alliance and some of their key leaders that helped in that task force, but again, throughout the regular season with the resumption, what the Alliance has done to help us get to grade state this weekend, we can't say enough about. So I'm looking forward to 3 weekends of great youth basketball in healthy and safe environments, and where kids on Sunday can say, hey, I had my season and I even had my state tournament. I mean, how great is that?
Yep. Yeah, thank you so much, Craig, for all your support and for the council's support over the last year.
Yep. Glad to be part of the team, Dawson.
Yep. So again, thank you everybody for your time and dedication to youth basketball. Enjoy the next 3 weekends of play, and just enjoy the experience and make it a safe and healthy environment for everybody involved. Take care.